It's new. Get ready.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to episode 26 of the Play to Win podcast, a show where we break down the week's biggest gaming news through in-depth discussion. My name is Tyler. I am your host this week, and I'm joined, as always, by my awesome co-host, Keiran. What is going on, my man? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I have had a very, very, very busy week, and it is not stopping over the weekend. So I'm very busy.
Yeah, I can say motorcycles. Geez, wow, super loud. I can say the same for myself. Didn't think it was going to be a busy week at work this week. Thought it'd be light. And within a day, I was just like, actually, you know what? You get one day of chillness. It's just going to be busy from there. And just like you, I got a busy weekend ahead of me, which is why we're recording this podcast on a Friday, not a Saturday like we normally do. So we are kind of hot, fresh off the Nintendo Direct that happened yesterday. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Remember, this is the Play to Win podcast. Down in the description of this video or audio podcast, depending on where you are listening or watching, you could find timestamps for the video, for everything that we're going to be talking about. That way, if you want to jump around to specific points, you can. And in case you didn't know, timestamps are on all episodes of the podcast.
Yep.
So any previous ones you go back to, timestamps will be there for you to just bounce around and listen to what you choose to listen to. But we always suggest you listen to the whole thing because the whole show is pretty good, if we should say so ourselves. Yeah. Remember, we just started our website, playtowingames.wordpress.com. Go check that site out. It's just another home for all of our content. Any reviews or previews that we've done, the videos will be there, but also the written versions will be over there as well. If you can't watch for some reason, you prefer it, or if you just prefer to actually read instead, you go read the stuff over there. It's, again, site's just another home for all our content. Go check it out. That went live last week. Tuesday. Wow. Yeah. Time is just flying by. Wow. Yeah. That went live Tuesday, just a couple days ago. It feels like it was last week just because of the way things work out and stuff. Also, follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at Play2WinGame for updates on the show. Subscribe to us on YouTube at, of course, Play to Win. And turn on the notification bell. That way you know when all of our videos go live as soon as they go live, so you can watch them the very second that they go live. Subscribe to us on audio podcast listening services. Leave likes, stars, comments, reviews, share the show, do all that stuff. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. We appreciate everybody who watches, everyone who subscribes, all that stuff. It's all very much appreciated. We especially appreciate everyone who has subscribed very recently in the wake of Keiran's, his 2 reaction videos, specifically the God of War reaction. That one has gotten the most views of any video that either of us has put on the channel. Neither of us expected it. He's out here with, you said what, 1,500 at least right now? Like it's about 1,500 views.
1,500 views, 70 likes, 10 comments.
Yeah. So in the wake of that, it's just been a giant surge. Again, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the show and everything, thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoy and keep on keeping on, guys. Bring the love, share the show and everything. With all that being said, though, we're going to preview the topics for this episode. This episode, normally we would have 3 main stories, sometimes 4. But this week, we only have 2 main stories. Those being, of course, as I already mentioned, the Nintendo Direct that happened yesterday as of recording, that's Thursday. And a new story that came out the very same night, just dropped in the middle of the night, that the initiative is partnering with Crystal Dynamics for Perfect Dark. Why is this happening? We'll talk about that later on. Before we get into our main topics for the episode, though, we have some brief mentions to get through. Of course, Keiran, if you have anything to say about this, just toss your hand up because I'm just going to be trying to fire through these. All right. So first up for our brief mentions, the PS4 just got an update that fixes its CMOS battery issue. This was a recently discovered issue where if the CMOS battery died, then eventually when that happened, your PS4 would essentially be a brick. If you couldn't connect it to the internet, you couldn't play anything on it at all. A PS4 update has fixed this issue, so now your console will not be bricked. Once the CMOS battery dies, you can still play your games without having to be connected to the internet, which is fantastic. Great for game preservation. Far Cry 6, it's been confirmed it won't have ray tracing on next-gen consoles. Ray tracing will be a PC exclusive feature. Not really sure why, considering, Watch Dogs Legion had ray tracing, but is what it is. Far Cry 6 is going to have ray tracing on next-gen consoles. Oh, well. Titanfall fans, they got their feelings hurt a bit this week, but kind of got like a bit of a possible boost maybe when Titanfall's community coordinator, Jason Garza, he kind of shut down hopes for a third entry happening anytime soon, stating in a video that Respawn was working on, quote, too many other games. Of course, this got people said putting out whole types of articles basically saying, yeah, it ain't happening anytime soon at all. Respawn then put up a tweet responding to the situation, basically saying, hey, we know there's been a whole lot of like reports going out there, but like, don't believe everything you read. And essentially, you know, like Titanfall's near and dear to our heart. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? So don't get your hopes up, but the series isn't dead at the same time.
Yeah.
Just don't expect anything anytime soon, regardless of what their Respawn is officially saying. Don't expect anything anytime soon.
Yep.
Fan favorite fighting game Marvel vs. Capcom 2 might be getting a remaster at some point in time. There are talks about it possibly happening. So fighting game fans have that to look forward to. I know it's a really beloved fighting game. Knockout City Season 3 has been announced, and it's starting on October 5th. The whole theme around this time is like this hacker is coming to the city and everything. So there's a new map. It's a jail map. In the jail map, there are like cameras, the spotlights catch you, then like turrets will pop up and shoot out the cage balls to catch you on the map spontaneously. It seems cool. The map seems cool, and it's adding a battle pass as well, like an actual battle pass of sorts. I think it's called like the Brawl Pass. It seems cool. I'll jump into it. I don't know if I'll do the battle pass. I don't know how much I'll play, but I will jump into it because Knockout City is a fantastic game. It's a really fun game. Life is Strange Remastered Collection is releasing on February 1st, 2022. It was supposed to come out end of this month, but it got delayed. So February 1st, 2022. What's so funny?
Another game for February.
I mean, this is just a remastered collection. Not the same thing. Not the same thing.
It's still kind of the same thing. It's still a game releasing in February alongside like so many games.
This is true, but it's at the very least, it's the very beginning of February, the very first day. And again, it's just a remastered collection. It's not like a brand new game. Yeah, if you're new to Life is Strange, then it's another one for you to play. But those games are also like shorter than the other games that are going to be coming out that month. So it's not bad, not too bad. Speaking of games releasing and getting release dates, we have another one, that being Chorus. That is coming out on December 3rd, 2021. If you don't remember Chorus, this was the space jet fighting game that we saw back. I think it was like Xbox's third-party event that they held in May last year. If it wasn't that, it was the June event. One of their first few like Xbox game events that they held in 2020. That's when we first saw this game.
May.
Yes, May. So yeah, that got a release date. They also put out a new trailer for it as well. It was like the Chorus 101 trailer. I have not watched it yet, just have not had the time. But if that, if the game piques your interest, go give it a look. Go give it a look. See, game's coming out pretty soon. Interesting, 5 days before Halo Infinite. That might not be the right place for it, but it is what it is. Speaking of Halo Infinite, though, the Halo Infinite's technical preview schedule has been released. If you listen to this right now, the first weekend is done. The first weekend is done if you're listening to this right now. So I'm not going to put the first weekend's information here. But the second weekend will be after this episode goes live. The second weekend will have big team battle and arena modes for you to play in. It will run from September 30th to October 4th. And it will be taking place at specific times on those days. So it is taking place from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time each day of the technical preview weekend, and it ends October 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Why it ends at 10 a.m. Pacific time and on October 4th instead of just 9 p.m. the previous night is beyond me. If you're not able to do anything past 9 p.m., you get what I mean?
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense, but is what it is. I also put here a funny clip that I saw on Twitter. Basically, there's this glitch going on in the beta or technical preview where if you do a melee but also switch your weapon at the same time, if you do, I guess, rapidly do it, you could do just get off a bunch of real quick punches and everything like that. It's funny. It's hectic. And I've seen people saying, hey, can we just like make this an actual game mode in Halo Infinite or something like that? So yeah, I put this clip in here. Keiran might throw it up while we're talking about this real briefly and stuff. So if you're watching, do this. Do this during the technical preview if it's still actually able to be done during weekend 2. Keiran.
Do you know who won't be able to do that? Because 343 didn't send him a code.
I'm guessing not just me, but you.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You got they should be doing another one. They said. I think they said they'll be doing another set of technical previews, right? So
yeah, I think there's more technical previews, and then there will be a beta at some point as well, which I think will be open. I don't quote me on that because I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, hopefully you got more chances coming down your way. Don't give up hope yet, my friend. Don't give up hope yet. Speaking of hope and new hopes and all, Quantic Dream has been rumored to be making a Star Wars game. Quantic Dream, they are the developers behind Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls. Going even farther back before those games, I believe one of the games was Indigo Prophecy, I believe is what it was called, or Fahrenheit, I think is what the name was in other countries and other regions. Rumors are they're making a Star Wars game, and that it won't be like their typical story-based adventure, like, walk around, dialogue-based type games. Rumors that it's going to be more like an action-adventure type game. Very different from what they've done in the past. Whether or not this is true, we'll have to wait to find out, but signs are kind of pointing that it is true. So that'll be interesting. On the more negative side of Quantic Dream news, though, they successfully won a libel lawsuit against one French publication, but lost against another. Why is this? You might think that's positive, but why is this negative? Well, the company has been accused of, as Jared Moore, his IGN article wrote, inappropriate behavior, overworked staff, and a, quote, schoolboy culture that allowed for racism, sexism, and homophobia at the studio, end quote. These reports have been going around for a while about the company. If you want to actually read them, just go Google Quantic Dream, like allegations, harassment, stuff like that. I'm sure you'll find it all. So the fact that they won this libel lawsuit, I think they just kind of got lucky winning the one they did, because I'm pretty sure that everything that got said about the company is very true.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's a bit of negativity over there, Quantum Dream as well. Speaking of more negative news for companies, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is now investigating Activision Blizzard, just another organization investigating that company over there. Mm-hmm. They have subpoenaed Activision and are requesting many different documents from the company for their investigation. In addition to the U.S. SEC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is now also investigating the company. And according to the Wall Street Journal, this investigation has been happening since May of 2020. Of course, both these organizations are investigating Activision Blizzard because of all the allegations of harassment, sexual discrimination, so on and so forth that have been going on at Activision Blizzard for quite some time. As we always say, we've talked about this many times on the podcast and back before. We have like 2 whole episodes essentially dedicated to the topic. If you want to know more about it, go listen to those episodes if you want to hear our thoughts on the matters as well. And if you don't want to listen to the episodes, or if you just want to read about it all, there are many articles out there about it. And of course, we always, as more news comes out about it, we always just update it here, talk about it briefly and stuff like that, because it's important to keep that in people's minds. And final brief mention here is that Fortnite is essentially banned from the iOS App Store for 5 years. Tim Sweeney over at Epic, he posted on Twitter an email that he got. I forgot who it was from, basically saying that Fortnite is blacklisted from the iOS App Store until legal proceedings are done for like the court case that they're in, and those can take up to 5 years. So if you were an iOS Fortnite player, you aren't going to be playing Fortnite on iOS for quite some time, it seems like. Yeah. And I feel like we might have said this before. We talked about this months ago, but honestly, like I just don't feel bad for Epic. Like you kind of you made the bed, laying it in a sense, and like it just is what it is. Is what it is in my book. Keiran.
Just an interesting thought, I think. The iPhone 13 released today, I'm pretty sure. I wonder if that is going to have any impact on sales.
No. Tell you that much right now, no.
I don't think it'll have a noteworthy impact on sales, but I think you'll have a number of people switching over to Android so they can play Fortnite.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that people won't switch over. I don't think it'll have anywhere near the impact that anyone thinks it would.
No. I'm definitely not saying Definitely not saying
It's definitely not gonna. Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I don't even think it would be like a minor impact, because I imagine if you want to play Fortnite and you have like in your iOS, you want to play like on some type of mobile device, chances are, if you really like iOS, you'll stay with iPhone and just get some cheap Android device that can play it.
Yeah.
As opposed to switching your whole ecosystem that you do everything on solely to play Fortnite.
Yeah, I think I was more thinking of like not to be stereotypical, but the like 13-year-olds who would typically be playing those sorts of games on their iPhone instead, maybe getting an Android phone so they could continue to play Fortnite on the go.
Yeah, and like those are the ones where probably you'd see the impact more, because they'd be like, no, I don't want that. I want this.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, even still, at the end of the day, it's a matter of like, is it that big a deal to them?
Yeah.
Is it that big a deal to them? And even if it is, how much of an impact or a dent does that really make in Apple's iPhone sales? Like, honestly, I don't think it's that big. It's going to be that big a deal.
Yeah, it'll be like 0.10 zeros to the 1 or whatever. I don't know. I
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Infinite super small amount. I know the way I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The pronunciation is the one where I have to see it in front of me, so I actually make sure I say it right. But super small amount.
Yes,
I got
very small.
That'll wrap up our brief mentions, though, and we're just gonna get right into our first main news story, that being Nintendo's surprise direct. Which, real quick, two things, Keiran. One, I kind of like how Nintendo will just be like on a random day, hey, there's a direct in 2 days, or there's a direct tomorrow, this time, be there.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, okay, that just changes it. That changes my day. That changes what I'm going to be doing. Am I going to be doing this? Am I going to be doing that? You know, it's annoying when like I have plans already that I can't work around for that. So I'm like, all right, I got to avoid the internet if I don't want to be spoiled on stuff. But at the same time, sometimes it's cool where it's like, okay, this works. Because yesterday, it just so happened it was at 6 p.m. Eastern. So as soon as I got home, I showered and I was able to watch it. I was like, perfect. I didn't have to like try and half watch it while doing work, or like be on the way home and like, all right, I can't watch it while I'm on the train. So that I think it's interesting how they do that. I kind of like it, but it's also annoying sometimes. 2, did you watch the direct?
I did not watch the direct live. I have seen most of, if not all, the trailers from it.
Okay, cool. I guess we get overall thoughts once we're done recapping everything here. But real top level, did you think this was a good direct? I mean, I know, as we've talked about before on the show, you and Nintendo don't have, not that you don't have the best relationship, but you don't necessarily get that excited for many games that Nintendo might announce.
No.
And things that you would see the Nintendo Direct, not many of them excite you in the way that something from like an Xbox show or a PlayStation show or some other indie show would excite you. Given all that, though, and what was shown here, did you think it was a good show for you, and then just a good show like objectively? What did you think?
I mean, this is probably one of the better directs that I've seen. Like, there's stuff in here that I'm definitely interested in. Like, I will play, as I said in my reaction, I will play Bayonetta 1 and 2 at some point, and then when I will play 3, I'm kind of excited for 3 just because I looked it up while I was filming my reaction to it. 3 was announced, I think it's like 3 years, 9 months, and 14 days ago, something like that.
It was announced in 2017 at the Game Awards. Yeah.
So I think it was something like 1,368 days since it was announced to what we got yesterday. So
yes,
what
we first got was just a CG trailer.
Yeah, exactly. So just on that point, I'm excited for it, but it does look quite cool. Not a fan of Monster Hunter really. Like, I'll play World sometimes with my friends, but
keep some of your thoughts to when we're actually going through this. Just again, just real top level. Was this a good show for you?
Top level, good show.
Good show. Cool. I definitely agree with what you said, that you think this was one of the better Nintendo Directs. Kind of, I guess I don't want to say in the grand scheme of things, but like, I guess in recent directs, it was one of the better ones. I definitely walked away from it feeling the same way. Given everything that we saw here, because again, not a lot, I don't want to say a lot, but a good number of the games in here probably won't play at all.
Oh,
but
yeah, same.
A lot of what was here, I was like, that's a cool announcement. That's a cool announcement. It's cool that this is here. It's cool that this is here. Overall, it was a good show, even if not everything was something that I was going to want to play.
Yeah.
So let's just start going through this. Continuing, starting off with the last thing that Keiran did say, that being Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. We just got a short little teaser for it. It's a massive expansion coming summer 2022. I think they said that there's going to introduce new stories, new monsters, new environments, bunch of new stuff. I imagine, I'm not a Monster Hunter person, but I imagine this will be like the Iceborne to Monster Hunter world.
Yeah.
This will be like Iceborne was for Monster Hunter World, is what I'm getting at. I imagine this is what that's going to be.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool teaser. Well, it's a cool announcement. I thought the teaser, I imagine that teaser did something for you if you play Monster Hunter Rise. But for me, watching it, I was like, ooh, what's this? At first, I thought it was Bayonetta, but then I was like, oh, wait, no, it's Monster Hunter. And then I thought the teaser was just like, it was a bit short and not necessarily vague, but just like, I guess like vaguish or empty. It's just like, here's this darkish environment, here's this monster, and it flew off. Here's the name, and that's it. So I was just like, it was a bit interesting that was the opening of the show. And again, I'm sure that did something for the people who play Monster Hunter Rise and everything. I thought it was an okay opening, though.
Yeah, do you want to hear my summarized thoughts on that trailer?
What was that?
Ooh, a dragon. That's it.
Spooky looking dragon.
Yeah, like it was a cool trailer, don't get me wrong. Like it wasn't, painful to watch. I'm really not a Monster Hunter person.
Yeah. Again, it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't a bad trailer. It wasn't even long. It did what it needed to do, which is basically say new environment, new creature.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's the name. It's coming in 2022. And I imagine we'll get an actual direct dedicated to just that at some point in time. Like,
probably
closer to release. Just like we did with Monster Hunter Rise. They had a whole direct dedicated to just that game.
Yeah.
So following that up, though, we got a new look at Mario Party Superstars. They just showed off some more boards for the game. There are 5 boards they said from the N64 games that are going to be here. They said 2 of them. I forgot what 2 of them were because there was the first 2 that they said but didn't show. So I forgot what those names were. But the other 3 they did show were Woody Woods, Yoshi's Tropical Island, and Horrorland. Sorry, hold on. I thought I heard my mom call me for a second. So yeah, those 3 boards and then 2 others as well from the N64 games. Then they also announced a Mount minigame area, which is basically just dedicated to only minigames. It takes out the board from the equation entirely. And you could do survival here. So you're basically playing against others. And if people lose, I assume they fall out of the match. And then it's just like, who could be the last one to make it to the end type thing. And then there's a tag match where you're doing minigames cooperatively with a friend to win. And 7 courses total from Mount Minigame. All boards and games support online mode in Mario Party Superstars. And it's coming October 29th, 2021. I thought this looked cool. I have not played a Mario Party game since the GameCube. I forgot which one it was, though. Like, if I see the box art, I can tell you which one it is. I think 4 or 5. I forgot exactly what number it was that was on GameCube. But Mario Party's fun. Mario Party's a fun game.
I'm sure it is. It's not something that I don't play games like this. Just for the main reason that I don't really have anyone. Like, all my friends own a Switch, so I could probably play this if I wanted to. But it's not a game I would put money into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mario Party is fun. I think it's at its most fun when you are playing locally, couch like right next to a bunch of other people, because then you all are in it, like right there with each other. I'm sure playing it online will be fun too, but you lose the anger, like the real face-to-face anger and excitement of just playing and beating someone in a mini game or screwing someone over and like causing them to lose or whatever. You lose that. But I always enjoyed Mario Party. Mario Party is cool. So not for me. I'm not going to get this. I know for sure because I'm I don't really have anyone to play it with, but it was a cool announcement. I thought it was nice. Following this up was a game that I most definitely am not going to play, but is intriguing to say the least. That being Voice of Cards: The Isle Dragon Lores. This is it's an RPG that's meant to be like a tabletop RPG based around cards. So like the world map is made of cards. So like you open up the world map by like flipping cards. Your character on the map is like a little like chess looking type piece and all. Characters are cards as well. It's all like tabletop RPG kind of style, which I think is unique. And I like that. I like that it's unique. It is different. It's interesting. It's just not for me at all. It's not for me in the slightest bit. I'll tell you that right now. The creative director is Yoko Taro, who's famous for the Nier series. The game is coming out October 28th, 2021, and there is a demo available right now. Also of note, the game is not just a Switch game. This game is also, as far as I know, it is available on PlayStation. I imagine it's probably on Xbox too, if it's on PlayStation as well.
Yeah, I mean, most of what you said applies to what I was going to say to it as well. It's like, this game looks really, really interesting. It's really unique. I haven't seen anyone like do this in a video game before. Looks really cool. I'm absolutely not going to play it, but like it looks really cool. It's not. I like that they are doing something that, to my knowledge, nobody has done in a video game before, and if they have, you really don't see it that often.
Right. Exactly. Again, it's just unique. It's really unique and interesting, and that's what I think is so interesting and exciting about it. And I'm sure that has many others intrigued. I haven't really seen the reception for this game online, but I'm sure if anyone is interested in it, that's a good part of the reason why. Got a few quick fire ones right here. Disco Elysium: The Final Cut, that got announced to be coming to Switch October 12th digitally, early 2022 physically. I know a lot of people really like that game. I'm not going to be getting into that one at all. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be my jam. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity's expansion pass got a trailer for Wave 2 called Guardian of Remembrance. That's dropping on October 29th. That's cool. Chocobo GP. It's a Final Fantasy kart racer. That got a nice little trailer and everything. That's coming out next year. We don't know when, just 2022.
Yeah.
The super anticipated moment of the show was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but we did not get the final character reveal. You know, they're trying to make me have a heart attack at work because the final character reveal is going to happen on October 5th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time. The reveal event will be roughly 40 minutes long, and it's not just going to be like showing like a trailer for the characters. It's going to be the trailer. It's going to be the final Sakurai presents. So the final time he's going to do actual character breakdown, gameplay breakdown of them and everything. And this will also show us the final Mii Fighter characters for the game. I know this is like a real brief thing, but Keiran, I know you're also not really that big on Smash lately. But real quick question: what do you think happens with Smash after this? Like, do you think that we get another Smash on the Switch, or do you think that we're not getting another Smash on the Switch until the next Nintendo console? Or do you think, you know, like crazy world out here, anything's happened? Do you think this might be the last Smash we get?
I don't think it's going to be the last Smash because it's one of Nintendo's like biggest games. Right. So I don't think they're going to axe that. I don't know whether we get another one on Switch because the Switch has now been around for 4 years. Yeah. So if you go by previous Nintendo console life cycles before they release a new console, what the Wii U was
2012 to 2017.
5 years, and then the Wii was 2006.
2012. Okay. So 6 years.
Yeah. So we are approaching like towards that period in the Switch's life cycle where we could potentially be getting a new console within the next 2 to 3 years. I am of the opinion I think it's going to be another console similar to the Switch because the Switch has had so much success. I think Nintendo is going to want to capitalize on that, or they could go a different way. I realize I've taken us way off topic here, but
No, you're fine. I like this train of thought because this is exactly what I'm thinking. Continue though.
So like it's either going to be something very similar to the Switch, or they are going to go entirely different than the Switch, and then continue to release like updated Switch models. I think is something they could also like. I mean, we're seeing that just now with the Switch OLED, and then they're giving the regular Switch a price cut across Europe, and then you've also got the Switch Lite. So, I mean, yes, you've already got 3 models of the Switch. They can't just keep releasing new models of the Switch forever, but I think we still get another maybe like 2 or 3 before they're like, okay, we're done with this. But I think either they are going to make a new Smash game. And if I know that, that's just my thought. I think they're going to make a new Smash game, but it's not going to be on Switch.
Yeah, because I mean, history shows there's only ever been one Smash game per console, traditionally. I think the only thing is that the Switch breaks the rules on everything because of just how popular the Switch is and how successful it's become. Like we had the rumored Switch Pro, which I guess you could say is still rumored, but at this point, is it just like a mid-gen upgrade for the Switch, or is that an actual next generation console from Nintendo that it's still the Switch, but it's just like a much more powerful one, like the NES, SNES, I guess you could say, Super Nintendo entertainment system, you get what I mean? So if the Switch Pro is actually a thing, if it's still real, and it turns out to just be a mid-gen upgrade, then I think we could get another Smash on this console. Yeah. But if the next Switch turns out to be, if the Switch Pro turns out to be like a brand new generation, then we'll just get another Smash on that one.
Yeah.
I think. But again, it's like Smash Ultimate is what the title says. It is the ultimate Smash game. Mm-hmm. It has every character from any previous release in the series, and it has a fantastic line of DLC characters. So, of course, like the worry is going to be who gets cut from the next one. If characters get cut, who gets cut and who gets to stay? Which is why everyone is hanging like all their hopes on this next DLC character for Smash Ultimate, because this is the ultimate one, it's like, what's going to happen? They might not be able to be in the next one. We might not be able to have all these characters in the same game ever again. And then there's also the fact that, Sakurai's getting up there, Smash Ultimate is exhausting for him and all. He needs a break. Who knows if Smash comes back? Who knows if he makes the next Smash? Who knows what happens with Smash's future? And that's why everyone is hanging a lot of their hopes on this next fighter, because they want it to be the perfect fighter to round out this game and potentially Smash as a series, or what we know of Smash as a series for the foreseeable future. So, fingers crossed that it's Sora on October 5th. I'm hoping it is, really hoping it is, man. And not Mii Fighter Sora, not as a Mii Fighter. Go all the way or don't do it at all. I don't want discount Sora in my Smash Ultimate.
I have a really cool idea for what they could do for the next Smash game.
Is it Reggie again? Oh wait, no, sorry. You said Smash game, not character. But what's your cool idea?
Well, I mean, character, Reggie all the way. But game, I think it would be really cool if you had like an open world Smash game with like a storyline and side quests, and like similar to like a Pokemon game where you'll have random Pokemon appear, but you have a random like other characters, and then it takes you into a Smash brawl. I think that would be dope.
You realize that's similar. That sounds like an expanded version of World of Light.
Is that a Smash game?
You didn't play Ultimate. Ultimate story mode.
Oh, okay.
Ultimate story mode.
Ultimate, it's like story mode?
Ultimate has a story mode, World of Light, where you have like a board that you're on. You start as Kirby, you have a board that you're on, and you go around the board, and each you get to fighters and everything, and a fighter most of the fighters are just like spirits, but the spirits are based on some character.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily randomized per se. Everything is in a specific spot, but there are boss battles in it and stuff like that. So what you're saying is basically World of Light, but I imagine just an expanded version of World of Light.
Yeah,
in a sense, like not taking place on a tabletop board in a sense.
Yeah, because in my head, it's a cross between Smash and like Pokemon Arceus.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that sounds like a much more expanded version of Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
With like the World of Light. That would be interesting. Chances are it probably wouldn't happen.
Oh yeah,
I'm of the mindset that Smash's single player has not been and has not been any better than it was in Brawl. Brawl's Subspace Emissary story, I loved it. It was so good. So good. And I'm of the mindset that single player Smash has not been as good as that. But that's a different discussion. Continuing on in this Nintendo Direct breakdown, recap here. This game leaked a few hours before the show, but got officially announced. It is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is a 3D Kirby game, and it seems like it's taking a lot of inspiration from Super Mario Odyssey. And it's coming out spring 2022. We have Kirby waking up on like a beach, and it looks like it's an island or a world that's been basically abandoned in a sense, kind of sort of. Looks like Kirby just kind of woke up in the same world that Nier Automata takes place in, just cities are destroyed, there's foliage all over them and stuff like that. But it looks really good and really, really fun. And I actually kind of think I want to play this game.
I'm of the same mindset of you. I've never played a Kirby game before, so
Neither have I.
So I have no idea like what to expect from this. But I mean, obviously I know the character Kirby, but I was watching it and I'm like, this looks pretty fun. And then I kept watching it and I'm like, I actually kind of want to get this game. I kind of want to know when this is out. So I love the bit where Kirby swallows a spike thing and then rolls around the map and spikes people. I enjoyed that part. So I'm looking forward to this game. Actually, I'm probably going to get this.
Yeah, same here. This looked really cool. It definitely surprised me. I was not expecting it to be an Odyssey type of inspired Kirby game, but I was expecting more like a 2D Kirby game. But this is doing something different, and I am all for it. All right, we got a couple more speedy ones we can get through here. Just run them off real quick. Animal Crossing New Horizons made a brief appearance. They teased the Roost coming to the museum in the game, which is basically at the coffee shop, and the character's name who runs it is Brewster. I only know this because this is what I've seen people talk about in all the past months of people begging for the Roost and Brewster to return and then being excited that he's finally coming back. But with just a little tiny tease, we're going to get a full direct on this new content on the Roost in October, as well as more future content coming to the game. And this new content will be coming in November, and it will all be for free, of course. Mario Golf Super Rush, they're adding 2 new characters, Koopa Trooper and Ninja. There are going to be 2 new courses added as well, and there's going to be a free update that is available as of now. The update went live the day of the direct, so go jump on that. Disney Magical World 2 Enchanted Edition appeared. That's coming this holiday season. Moving on. Knights of the Old Republic, the original, got announced to be coming to the Switch November 11th, 2021. Moving on. Although, hold on real quick. On KOTOR, when I was looking at it, I was like, oof, forgot that's an old game right there.
Yeah.
Forgot that's an old game. Dying Light 2, the cloud version, that is coming February 4th. I refuse to see that full name.
So you missed a couple of words there.
I did not. I deliberately ignored it. Although I wrote it here, I deliberately ignored it. Dying Light 2's cloud version, it's coming to the Switch the same day as everyone else, February 4th, 2022. Wait, no, that's not the same day as everyone else. But it comes to Switch, the cloud version, on February 4th, 2022. And it'll be a free demo as well, dropping alongside the cloud version. Oh, wait, no. Dying Light 2 just got delayed for everyone else. So it probably is February 4th for everyone. So I forgot they did just get delayed. Speaking of more Dying Light, though, the Platinum Edition of the original game is coming to Switch October 19th, 2021. That was another one. When I looked at it, I was like, oof. I know Switch isn't as powerful as other consoles, but man, that one looks rough. That one does not look that good graphically. Karen, if you didn't see it, if you didn't see the little trailer they showed for it, just go take a quick look at it. Not right now, of course, but like some other time. Take a quick look at it. You'll see. You'll be like, ooh, yeah, that's rough looking there. Project Triangle Strategy return. That's like the HD 2D RTS game that was announced a couple months ago. That one returned. They said that they made adjustments to the game following the demo survey, including difficulty. They being able to like reread dialogue from conversations, camera controls, improved UI, other stuff. The game is also not called Project Triangle Strategy anymore. It is just called Triangle Strategy. Continuing in the tradition of Project Octopath Traveler, Project Triangle Strategy. I saw a picture today where they had the box art, except they called it Pythagorean Theorem. I was just like, yes, perfect. And of course, that game comes out March 4th, 2022. I'm not going to play it. I'm not really into RTS games. No. But again, HD 2D games, those games are beautiful, man. This game looks beautiful. And I love it off that level alone. I wish it was a game that I actually would be like interested in genre-wise, because it just looks so good. But not for me. Metroid Dread appeared with just a short trailer, giving a brief overview of the game, just reminding everyone that, hey, it comes out on October 8th, 2021. So there is that. And then we get into one of the most exciting announcements of the show. One that people were hoping for and also not expecting. You'll get what I mean in a moment. Nintendo announced this Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion plan. That is the name for it. Well, Plus expansion pack is actually what it's called. This is coming in October, and it is a new membership plan that adds N64 and Sega Genesis games to Nintendo Switch Online. This is super exciting and super interesting. For the longest time, people have been asking for N64, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, GameCube. I don't think anyone expected Sega Genesis games or any non-Nintendo games to be coming to Switch Online.
No.
Now, Keiran, what is this? Just that alone, what does that do for you? Because for me, real quick, I don't really dabble in Switch Online. Like, I just have it to be able to do stuff online on Switch. $20 is what it is. I don't really do much with the older games, but I think having them there is cool. It's nice if I ever want to mess with them. So having N64 now is confirmed to be coming, and Sega Genesis games. What does this do for you, if anything?
Honestly, not much. I mean, like we've said many times, I'm not the biggest Nintendo person when it comes to like the history of Nintendo games. So, like, I might play Mario 64, which is on here. Although I would have to buy Switch Online again because I haven't had that in I couldn't even tell you how long. But I think it's a good way to keep these games alive, absolutely. And two, very surprised they're adding Genesis games. But again, it's definitely not a bad thing. The more games they add to that service, the better.
Of course. This new expansion pack, plan and everything, it includes all the features from the base membership. The current plan that exists now, just Switch Online on its own, that will still remain. Anyone who is currently subscribed to Switch Online could switch over to the new plan. They didn't announce pricing or release date, but that's going to be announced at a later time. They did, however, announce the N64 games that will be available at launch. Those include Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, Star Fox 64, Mario Kart 64, Dr. Mario 64, Mario Tennis 64, Winback, Covert Operations, which I feel like I've played a Winback game. Like, the name just sounds so familiar in my head. I don't know if it was that one though, but the name is very familiar to me. Yoshi's Story, and then Sin and Punishment. Those will all be there at launch. And then they also said that future N64 games will include, I don't think this is the only ones they'll be adding in the future, but these are just the ones that they've named, as F-Zero X, Majora's Mask, Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon Snap, Mario Golf, Paper Mario, and Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. I think that's a nice, solid list of N64 games. Yeah. Have I played many of these? Not at all. I have only played Super Mario 64 and a bit of Ocarina of Time, and also Mario Kart 64. Also, that's a lie, a bit of Majora's Mask. I played a tiny bit of that. Have not played any of the others. but I know that just about all of these are like really beloved, or at least many of these are beloved. So dropping them, like having these be the ones that they're adding, is really cool.
Just to show how uncultured I am when it comes to this kind of stuff. Do you know the only game at this entire list I've played?
Super Mario 64.
Banjo-Kazooie.
I was very wrong. I was very wrong.
And I played it on the Series X.
Of course, it would be there, not on the N64. Nothing wrong with that, of course. So yeah, I think that's very, very cool. Yep. Local and online multiplayer will be available for some N64 games, and you can play online with 4 players on them. Now, for the Genesis side of things, they announced the games that will be available at launch for that, and that includes Streets of Rage 2, Echo the Dolphin, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Castlevania Bloodlines, Contra Hardcore, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Golden Axe, Gunstar Heroes, Phantasy Star 4, Rise Star, Shining Force, Musha, Shinobi, I forgot the O there, Shinobi 3, I mean, specifically, and Strider. Those are the Sega Genesis games that will be available at launch. Again, I don't know too much about the legacy of these Sega Genesis games, but I know people like them. Some Castlevania, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 people like, Streets of Rage people like, Echo the Dolphin I hear people talk about. I think they like it. Strider, Shinobi. I think it's a solid list of games here overall from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I think there's only one in here that I've played. Castlevania is a game that, like, I've heard so many people talk about, and obviously, like, I know what it is. The Netflix Castlevania series is really good if you haven't seen it.
Yes.
So and it's a game like I've always wanted to play, but I've either never had time to get into it, or I've just honestly forgotten about it. So I might actually, I don't know. Bloodlines, I imagine, is not the first one.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not.
I
imagine just one of them. But again, like, I don't know specifically anything about this Castlevania game. I just imagine people will be happy it's there.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Sorry.
And then they all topped this off with the announcement that they have created wireless N64 and Genesis controllers that they will be releasing for $49.99. So if you can get them before a scalper can, you will have a classic controller for you to play these games on, and feel like you're back in your bedroom, sitting there in front of the TV, or in the living room in front of the TV with the N64 controller or the Genesis controller in your hands, except you'll be doing it from the comfort of your bed, 20 feet away from your TV.
Yeah. Fun fact: when I first read that in the doc, I thought it said $4,999, and I was going to be like, "What the hell, Nintendo?"
Crazy thing is, they could get away with that.
Probably.
All right, no, they could not get away with it, but people would buy it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So yeah, one of the bigger announcements from the entire showcase. I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to be there, but once they started talking Switch Online, I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is when we hear N64, Game Boy Color. Was not expecting Genesis stuff, so I think that was a cool little bit right there. All right, a few more to speed on through. Shadowrun Trilogy coming next year. Castlevania Advanced Collection available right now. ActRaiser Renaissance. It is an ActRaiser remaster that is available right now. Deltarune Chapters 1 and 2 are available on Switch right now for free as well. And they are also available on PlayStation. I know that for a fact, because I saw people talking about it. I imagine it's on Xbox as well, but don't quote me. Then we got a sizzle reel showing Hot Wheels Unleashed, Surviving the Aftermath, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Wreckfest, Arcade Archives Pac-Man, and there was another one, but I didn't see the name of it. And then Rune Factory 5, all in a quick sizzle reel. And then we get to the one announcement that has had everybody talking for like the past 24 hours. Miyamoto came up. He was like, hey, can I get a moment to talk? Sure thing, you got it, Miyamoto. He said, yeah, so we're making a Mario movie. You guys know about that, right? Cool. I can tell you the release date. It's coming to theaters next holiday season, 2022. It's specifically in North America, December 21st, 2022, barring any delays. Fantastic. They just said, and guess what? I can tell you some of the cast members right now. Awesome. Okay. Who do we got playing these characters? Let me say this for the record. I have no problem with any of these characters, with the casting. I think it's great. I think it's cool. The internet, on the other hand, has a bone to pick with this casting, specifically cast member number 1. Chris Pratt is the voice of Mario in this movie, and people are having a field day. They're like, no, not him. Not Chris Pratt, not the worst of the Chris's. How dare you? How can it not be Charles Martinet voicing Mario in the movie? And I'm just like, guys, did you really expect him to be the voice of Mario in this full movie? Did you really expect that? Seriously, calm down. I honestly think people are blowing this way out of proportion. I don't think it's anywhere near as big a deal as many people make it out to be. Because people's issues stem not just from Charles Martinet not voicing Mario, but from like people just like not liking Chris Pratt. I don't get why. In my mind, I think it's really silly and stuff. Like I've read into it and I'm just like, really though? Like seriously? Yep. But that is that. Chris Pratt voices Mario. Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach. I'm trying to think of movies that she's been in. She was in that movie The Witch. She is in this upcoming movie Last Night in Soho by Edgar Wright. She's been in a couple things. So she voices Peach. Charlie Day is Luigi. I think that's perfect casting right there. Jack Black is Bowser. I think that's another great casting right there. Keegan-Michael Key plays Toad. And a completely out there casting for Toad for sure. But if you've ever seen the Key and Peele substitute teachers, first one, someone posted on Twitter a clip of themselves doing like Toad's voice over his lines from that sketch, and it just makes it absolutely hilarious. And I'm just like, yeah, I see it so well now. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario in the games and everything, he'll be involved in surprise cameos throughout the movie. And then Comic Cranky, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Comic or Kamek, Cranky Kong and Spike are also in the movie. I did not get to write down who their cast members are. My apologies. I was not expecting this announcement at all during this direct. Nope. That was the last thing I would have expected to hear, just a movie casting announcement. But what better place to do it than a Nintendo Direct? So that's happening. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this movie is and what it ends up being. And I'm sure it'll be great. I don't want to say I'm sure. I hope it will be great.
Yeah. Apparently we knew they were making a Mario movie. I didn't.
They announced this over a year ago. This has been well-known news.
It's news to me. I agree. I don't understand why everyone hates Chris Pratt. I really like Chris Pratt. I mean, not my favorite actor, but still. Very happy with the casting of Bowser. I really, really, really love Jack Black. I had to look up who Charlie Day and Keegan-Michael Key are, but as soon as I saw their faces, I'm like, oh, that's you. I just didn't know their names. I'm looking forward to it. If Detective Pikachu is anything to go off of, then I mean, obviously, different studio, different team, different actors, whatever. But that movie was really, really good. So we will see what we will have to wait and see what this will entail.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one. Fingers crossed that it's a good one. It's also an animated movie as well. So I mean, that just gives it a chance to be good and not live like a live action one. If it's gonna be live action, then it's like, oh boy, super low expectations. But it's animated, so I mean, and Nintendo's like heavily involved in this too. I think there's chances it's gonna be at bare minimum good movie.
Yeah. I will also say very quickly on the end that they chose very well in Illumination because their movies are really good.
I like Illumination. They did Despicable Me movies, Minions, and I don't know what. Oh, they did Secret Life of Pets, if I'm right. The Grinch, I think they did as well. The Grinch, the Lorax. They've done some good. They've done some stuff. I haven't seen all of those. I've only seen Despicable Me 1 and 2 and The Secret Life of Pets. But I like those. So
also did Sing and Hop.
Oh yeah, Sing. I forgot about that. Sing, I heard was really good. I never saw it, but I heard it was really good.
Sing is
Hop,
a very good movie. Hop, yeah.
I may know of it, but I've never seen it.
The one where Russell Brand voices a bunny.
I may have heard of it, but I've never seen it. So yeah, that was the penultimate announcement during this Nintendo Direct. Oh wait, no, it was not. The penultimate announcement was Splatoon 3. We got some multiplayer gameplay here, some single player footage. The story mode is called Return of the Mammalians. And they had their squid researcher, who I believe is just like the game's producer, presenting the information. And I thought this was hilarious because he was just committed to the bit. He was fully committed to the bit. If you remember the Splatoon 2 like reveal during like the Nintendo Switch actual reveal, he came out on the stage. He came out with like 2 squid guns, dressed up like the lab suit and everything. And he like tried to make a 2 with his body on the stage. It was the most awkward thing ever. So, like he was here at the end, he was like Splatoon 3, and like he straight up did like a yoga pose and made a 3 with his body. And it was, that's why I put in here, he is committed to the bit. It was absolutely hilarious watching this on the stream last night. But yep, the game is, they're still just saying it's only a 2022 game, no firm date or like not more specific release window. But the game takes place in Splatsville. It's a place of chaos surrounded by the Splatlands. We saw some new weapons and stuff in it. It looks cool. I've never played Splatoon, but I've always thought Splatoon was a really cool IP. And I always thought it looked really fun. So more Splatoon, I think, is always great. I like that this IP for Nintendo is like proven to be really successful.
Yeah.
Especially one from the Wii U. Well, it's a platform that was not successful.
I had a Wii U. I liked it.
Doesn't mean it wasn't successful.
Oh, no. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like, people don't like that console.
Yeah. No, yeah. My brother has a Wii U, and he played it. But I think he mainly played it because that was his only platform that he had here. I'm pretty sure if he had an Xbox, he would not have played the Wii U at all. But yeah, I never had a Wii U. I wanted one briefly, but then I was like, nah, I'm good on my PS4. So it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think the only reason I bought it is because I was going through Amazon one day. I'm like, hey, the Zelda like limited edition Wii U for Wind Waker HD is on sale for like £120. I'll buy that.
That's the one my brother has. He has the Wind Waker one, and he never used the code. So when he got his Switch, I had like said, oh, let me get your Wii U. I'm gonna use the code so I could play Wind Waker HD because I hadn't played it, right? I only played the original. And put the code, downloaded it onto the Wii U, never used it. Never used it. I downloaded it on there somewhere. But the actual final announcement was Bayonetta 3. She finally returned after a almost 4-year absence with brand new gameplay. And at first when it started, I saw it was Shibuya. I was like, all right, this is Bayonetta. Because I was like, well, it's not Shin Megami Tensei 5 because it was already in the sizzle reel. This is Bayonetta 3 for sure. Game looks fun. And watching that gameplay, I was just like, man, I need to play Bayonetta 2. I keep putting it off, and I just have not gotten to it, but I need to play Bayonetta 2. She has a new look. Her hair is all different and stuff like that. People are online theorizing as to why this may be. You have not played Bayonetta 1, correct?
I have played Bayonetta 1 for like an hour.
Okay. I will not get into the why. Into the theories, because the theories spoil a major plot point of 1.
Okay.
But reading those theories, I was like, oh, that's right. That makes sense. I wonder that could possibly be the case here. If you have played Bayonetta 1 and you have seen the trailer and you've read those theories, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, it looks cool. I got to play Bayonetta 2 at some point. I like how in the trailer she says, it seems I'm fashionably late, but I'm ready to give you what you want. And it's just like, y'all are breaking the fourth wall. Yeah. Y'all are being so self-aware and everything. But it looks cool. She's out here engaging in basically kaiju battles and stuff like that. It looks absolutely bonkers and wild, but I'm ready for it. And we know it's coming next year, 2022. No more specific release window than that. Yeah. And people are thinking that the trailer teased Virgil from Devil May Cry at the very end. It's possible that Virgil might be in this game. Who knows? You look on your face. You're like, wait, what? Huh? The part at the end, the guy who was from the moon.
In front,
People are thinking that might be Virgil.
I had said at the start, like, I don't know any stuff about Bayonetta, so if there's any story stuff in here, I'm not going to know what it is. And then, like, halfway through the reaction when it got to the actual gameplay, I'm like, this reminds me a lot of Devil May Cry, actually. Like, it seems like a very Devil May Cry-esque game. I didn't know. That's just blown my mind. because I love Devil May Cry. I've played all of them. I played 5, 4, and the remake that
DMC from Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory.
Yeah, it was a reboot, not a remake.
So yeah, sorry. So yeah, those are the only games I've played. So I'm not like super in depth, huge Devil May Cry fan, but I really enjoy the games. That's just blown my mind that might be Virgil.
Yeah, people are theorizing it might be. I haven't really seen the whys as to why they're theorizing that, but people are theorizing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the series Devil May Cry and Bayonetta share similarities, I guess, in the sense that, they're both character action games.
Yeah.
I think the similarities might stop there though, because I mean, I don't think that like any developers are like shared between the two of them. Like I don't mean like companies, I mean like people are shared between the two or anything like that. I mean, Platinum has done Bayonetta, Capcom is, Devil May Cry. Yeah. I don't think it's like, hey, someone from Devil May Cry team went off to Platinum and then they made Bayonetta. I don't think it's anything like that.
No.
But I mean, they are very similar games in terms of just being like really character action heavy. You can die real easily from enemies. Combos are key and stuff like that. Bayonetta is a fun game. I think you'll like it. Definitely I'll tell you this much. The story in Bayonetta 1, at the very least for me, is utter nonsense. And for me, the story was just like a vehicle for the gameplay.
Yeah.
But the story is interesting, at the very least. It's interesting, but it's just a vehicle for the gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back. When I saw that the guy standing in front of the moon, I'm pretty sure I said something like, "Guys, I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know any story stuff for Bayonetta."
We see at first I thought it was this other female character from the first game, who I think is in the second one too. Not saying her name, because I actually don't remember it. I thought it was her, but then I was like, "Huh, it looks like a guy's face." So people saying that it's Virgil could possibly, be true. It's possible. Who knows? Yeah. We're never gonna know until the game comes out. But that is the recap of the Nintendo Direct. And all in all, like we kind of said at the beginning, I think this was a really good Nintendo Direct. Like start to finish, there were a lot of great announcements in here. There were some throwaway announcements, such as Disney, whatever the heck it was called, Enchanted Edition, Disney's Magical World Enchanted Edition. That was just like, okay. Interesting place to showcase this, but sure thing. But I mean, overall, every announcement here was a good announcement. It was an interesting announcement. There were some real exciting things here. The Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games, such was the biggest one. I think the biggest, like, oh my gosh, Kirby might have been like the biggest one if it didn't get leaked prior to the show. But yeah, overall, I think this was a solid show. And like if I were to grade this, I would say this was like a B plus, I think. B plus, A minus at best, but I'm leaning more just B plus. It was a good show.
I think I would probably say B, but like just because a lot of the stuff in here, again, because I'm not the biggest Nintendo person, I don't get. But like there are a lot of announcements in here that were really good. And I am probably getting at least 2 or 3 games that were announced here. Or shown here, at least.
Nice. Well, that has been our recap of the Nintendo Direct. And now we're going to move on to our second story. That being the surprise, news drop in the middle of the night, a few hours after the Nintendo Direct, that the initiative will be working with Crystal Dynamics on Perfect Dark. They are partnering with each other on this game. And I have their tweet here. I'm going to read their tweet first. And then I want to hear what you thought about this. Because I mean, did you see this when they first announced it? Or, well, actually, no, I imagine you didn't. That was like super late for you. So maybe you didn't see it. Maybe you saw it in the morning. But here's their tweet. The initiative tweets out, Perfect Dark update. We are partnering with Crystal Dynamics, the world-class team behind character-driven games such as Tomb Raider, to bring this first-person spy thriller to a new generation. The teams couldn't pass up a chance to work together. We're still early in development, but incredibly excited to use this unique opportunity to deliver on the vision for Perfect Dark. And they have a picture here. It's just a picture of art with the Perfect Dark logo on it, and then the initiative Crystal Dynamics names next to each other, signifying that they are working together. Now, when I saw this, I was just like, wait, what? Huh? Come again? Excuse me? what is happening here and why? I was very confused. Keiran, what did you think? What ran through your mind when you read the news about this?
I think the same as you. I saw it and I'm like, wait, hang on, sorry. But like I didn't actually read their tweet until I think either the next morning or the evening when I got back from work. But the response that I've seen to this is like it's a mix between people being like, cool, I just want this game to be as good as it can be, and people being like, this is really stupid, proving once again that Xbox can't make a game. So I'll touch on that in a little bit, I guess. But it's strange, I think, but I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited about it. I wonder what influences it is going to have from Tomb Raider, if any. Just because they'll have Crystal Dynamics working on it. But when I saw it, it was initial, like, I suppose a little bit of maybe like a tiny bit of shock with a large amount of confusion, and then kind of after processing it, I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. So like when I read it, I was like, whoa. Again, I was just shocked reading it. And immediately my mind went to, this game must be having problems, must be having issues if they're pulling in another AAA developer. Because it's not like this, I think it's different from them outsourcing. Because I mean, that happens on many different games. I've seen people in the replies be like, oh, but look, Naughty Dog had 2,000 people in 14 studios working on The Last of Us. I was like, okay, well, like they were outsourcing. That was basically outsourcing the game for different things, for different studios for different reasons. It's very different from partnering and working in collaboration on the game. Very different thing. Outsourcing happens at all different studios all the time across the industry. But this partnership on this scale, and it's also the fact that it's not, they didn't partner up with another Xbox first party studio, which, as I've seen some people say, probably because each of those studios is busy working on something, so they can't afford to do that. But the fact that it was a third party AAA developer that they're partnering with to bring in to help them make Perfect Dark, that had me concerned and made me think there must be something wrong behind the scenes. Either this game is like super having major production issues, or they're just really behind on stuff, or they can't get things together. What's going on? And then that was my knee-jerk reaction. And then, I read some people saying that, well, the head of the initiative used to be the lead over at Crystal Dynamics, which he's like the connective tissue between the two studios. Hence why, or not confirmed, but that's likely why Crystal was the studio chosen to work with them on this. Makes sense. Cool. I'm still, so like, I guess I'm not, the worry and concern is still there, but not as much as it was last night. Because now I've sat on it, slept on it, had a whole 24 hours to go by now. Well, basically 24 hours. And it's like, okay, this is the case. The game is probably still fine. They say they're early in development. I don't think we're seeing this game for at least a year. Like actual gameplay of it, I do not think we see any gameplay of this until the end of next year, if we're lucky. Which goes to another point I want to make. But I'm still a bit worried. I'm still a bit concerned that things might not be all that great behind the scenes in the game if they needed to bring in an outside AAA third-party developer to assist and partner with them on the game. Not outsourcing the game. This is straight up, we are partnering to make this game. That's a very different thing. And I don't know if this has happened in the industry before. I don't know of it happening in the industry before, or at least on a scale like this. But it's very interesting, very surprising, and it just gives me pause.
Sorry. When I saw this was going to be one of the main stories in the doc, I pulled up a few tweets from Ryan McCaffrey that I saw.
I read his thread, but go ahead and read it.
that I saw for this. I wanted to read a couple of things from this. So you can follow him on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. But
For those who don't know, he's basically like the Xbox guy at IGN. He hosts podcasts Unlocked. He is like a figurehead of the Xbox community. If for those who do not know.
Yeah. Just to give his proper job title, he is an executive editor at IGN.
There you go.
So I'll read a couple here. Quote. Also, I'm not the first person to think/say this, but the fact that this was dropped on 5 p.m. Pacific /8 p.m. Eastern on a Thursday, while the gaming community is distracted by a bunch of Nintendo news, tells me that Microsoft doesn't expect this to go over very well. Don't get me wrong.
I said preach. Continue.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not poo-pooing on this. Crystal is exceptionally talented. Yeah, I know Avengers, but the studio's overall body of work is still very impressive. My big question is, what are they contributing? Are they doing design work or just technical support work? The why Crystal seems pretty obvious to me. The Square owns them and Microsoft doesn't, portion notwithstanding. The Initiative Studio head, Daryl Gallagher, came from Crystal Dynamics. I'm sure he's the connective tissue on this. Thinking through this more, I think the bottom line here is pretty simple. TI, the Initiative, is a new studio that was affected by the pandemic just like everyone else. Daryl saw that PD, Perfect Dark, would take years more at this pace, so we called CD, Crystal Dynamics, pals to get it done much faster, end quote. Which I think is a very good way to sum this up. Like Tyler said, there is obviously at least some form of trouble going on behind the scenes. But I don't think that this is anything to be like majorly concerned over in terms of development. I do think that this is largely down to COVID. Like especially once I read Ryan's tweet and started thinking about it, I'm like, well, I mean, everyone has been affected by the pandemic. And honestly, I wasn't expecting to see this game until 2023 anyway. So it doesn't really surprise me that it's because it's been delayed further by COVID. They are bringing in more people to get it back on schedule to release in probably 2024, 2025. So yes, it's a big deal because like Tyler says, I also can't think of a time this has happened in the industry where like a air quote quadruple A developer has had to seek assistance from technically outsourced, but in a different way to another triple A game developer. So like that hasn't happened before to my knowledge. So there is some trepidation, but not enough that is like, oh my God, the initiative's on fire kind of way.
Yeah. I'm happy you brought up his thread because I forgot all about it. But yeah, reading his thread last night when I saw it, it definitely helped put my mind at ease some in the sense of we don't need to raise the alarms or sound the alarms or anything like that. But again, still like have some concern there. I personally still have some concern there. And again, this goes back to a point that you mentioned it again, which brings me to a point I want to make. Microsoft announces way too early. This is not the only game they have announced way too early. This one, they announced this too early. I believe, in my mind, they announced. Hold on, they announced Avowed too early. In my mind, they announced Outer Worlds 2 too early.
Absolutely.
And I can go back and forth on Fable because Fable was rumored to be in development for a while before we saw it, before it was actually announced. Yeah. Now, granted, they have already said, I mean, if I'm right, it was Jeff Grubb or someone said that Fable is kind of like a ways out anyway.
Yeah.
But I guess you could say Fable announced way too early. And then the biggest offender of this is Hellblade. The very first one that was announced. And apparently it's still really early in development. So, I mean, I'm sure like some of these games will be out 2 years from now, but even still, it's just like, man, why are they announcing all these games so early? And I know some people might say, but Tyler, you're the Sony, you like PlayStation a whole lot. I'm not saying Sony's innocent either. They announced The Last of Us in 2016, and then it came out in 2020. Death Stranding was announced 2016, I think, or 2015, and then it came released 2019. So no, 2016 and 2019, 3 years, not too bad. Ghost of Tsushima was 2016, I think, to 2020. So 4 years there. You know, the issue with those, I think, was that they were announced, and then with Ghost of Tsushima, it was announced, and then we saw it like 2 years in a row, and it was just like, all right, we kind of don't need to see it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it was like kind of like all they had to show. The Last of Us, they announced it, and then they said, all right, we out, and just disappeared until 2019. So, like, similar situations, slightly different, I guess, but still, like, they've announced some games too early, where it's like, hey, you could have waited a year or two on that one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure they do it to, like, you know, shareholders, money, so on and so forth, get people excited. But man, like, that's about like 5 games Microsoft has announced where I'm just like, this ain't coming out for a long time. Everwild. That's the other biggest offender. Everwild. I knew there was another one I was missing. That one. Like, about 5 games where just like, this should have waited. Could have waited on this one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they announced them so early to be like, hey, look, we have exclusives. They're coming. They're just not going to be here for quite a while, which I am for and against on. I'm for it because, like, the argument for the last 8 years has been Microsoft has no exclusives, which they have proven all of those people wrong when they announced, like, Fable, Perfect Dark, Avowed, all these like massive AAA and even quadruple A games that are coming out at some point.
Right.
On the against side of it, like, now I'm just waiting in limbo for the next 4 years for, you know, Perfect Dark or Fable or whatever. Like, prime example that you mentioned very well, Hellblade 2. It was announced in December 2019. We are away to be in December of 2021, and that game is probably not coming out until 2023 at the, like, absolute earliest. But when
based on what we know of it, yeah.
But from what we know of it, I would estimate probably 2024, 2025, because when I can't remember the exact thing that was shown during the
June thing this year, or it was some event. I know what you're talking about. There was some event. I think it was like June last year, where like they had first party studios and they were like, yeah, hey, we're out here, you know, like filming and photographing stuff and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So on and so forth. And then I think we got to update sometime after that. Yeah, we're still early on stuff, man.
Yeah, like that game is so early in development that I honestly would have preferred them to announce that like 2 years from now.
Exactly. And I think it's also, this kind of leads into a good, they, like you said, they announced the stuff to say, hey, we have exclusives, you know, we have things coming. And the argument for the longest time has been, as you said, Microsoft has no exclusives. The argument has also been on the Xbox side, like on the Xbox fan side of things, it's like, you're good?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It looked like you were like worried, just looking at something.
No. I heard someone walking about.
Gotcha. The argument also that's been being made on the Xbox side of things is, well, that this next year is the year. This is the year. This is the year things are going to happen. And that has also been happening ever for the past, you said for the past 8 years, it's been Xbox has no exclusive. For the past like 5-6 years, it's been next year's the year. Next year's the year. Next year's the year. And every year happens. And every year we keep on saying, next year is the year. Next year is the year. And it's like at a certain point, you can't keep saying that anymore.
Yeah.
You can't keep saying next year's the year. And I think that this year with Halo, hopefully Halo was good, might be the end of that. I mean, this year we've also had Flight Sim and Psychonauts 2, technically. And, well, not technically. Psychonauts 2, technically Deathloop, you know. So I guess you could say that this year is the end of next year is the year. But in terms of when are these things coming, when are they all going to start flooding on out? It's like, man, you have some time to wait.
Yeah. just one final thing. It's like I feel like I feel like Xbox is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing in 3 years. Is how I feel. Like, just like, I think after having this conversation and like actually sitting down to think about like, oh yeah, they've announced like 5 games that are still years away. Like, I don't get me wrong, I love my Series X. It's a really great console. I'm having a really good time playing on it. But it's like now is simultaneously not the time to be an Xbox gamer and the time to be an Xbox gamer.
Yeah, it's like get in now, get all the Game Pass stuff, and you're getting in right at the cusp of multiple different big exclusives coming. But at the same time, if you want exclusives, maybe wait like 2 years, and then like you'll have a bunch of big exclusives to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, is what it is. End of the day, though, I think we can both agree that Initiative work partnering with Crystal Dynamics on Perfect Dark, slightly concerning. At the end of the day, though, if it's for the best for the game, then that's all that matters. We just want the game to be as great as it can be. Yeah. And it seems like that's the case. We just got to wait to see more of it and wait to hear more about what's going on with this game. Simple as that.
Exactly.
That's going to wrap it up for our news, though. Only 2 stories this week. Good thing it was only 2 stories, considering how long things have been going for. So we're going to round out this episode with what we've been playing. This week, you and I both have one shared game. That shared game is your only game. That being Call of Duty Vanguard, the game developed by Sledgehammer Games and published by Activision Blizzard, who, as we already mentioned earlier in the episode, is now being investigated by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and is also being sued by the state of California for the way that they have their company culture, which is a frat boy-like culture, and the way they have been fostering a place of sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, sexual discrimination, so on and so forth. Keep that in mind. Yes, Keiran.
And also being sued by employees for
yes, thank you for that as well.
Illegal and unfair business practices.
Yes, I forgot about that one as well. Thank you for mentioning that. So with all that in mind, Keiran, you played the Vanguard beta. What are your thoughts on it?
It's fun. Like,
you say that like hesitantly. You're just like, I guess it is.
Like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed playing it, right? It's Call of Duty multiplayer. It's basically the same game every year. Like, they add new maps and they add, like new modes or new weapons or like a new overall theme, like this year's World War II. Then like, but it's COD multiplayer. Like, do you get
like
what I mean?
It,
yeah.
If you like it, then then generally you'll probably like it every year.
One thing I want to add is I don't know if they made this game easier than previous. Well, like, because like I think I got 2 games where my KD was less than 2. And I was getting like 25, 26 kills a game. So like, I don't know if I was just playing with a lot of bots or the people I was playing with were bad, but like, I'm not good at video games. I don't understand how that happened. Was it fun? Yes. Did it sway me to pre-order Vanguard? No, of course it didn't. It was never gonna do that. Like, I see what you mean about the spawns. The spawns were horrible.
Yep.
Like, so many times I spawned in, I'm like, oh, I'm dead now. Okay.
Did you spawn in front of an enemy team?
Not an enemy team. I think I spawned in front of like 2 people. What was the map you said? Did you say you didn't like one map in particular?
Red Star, the snow map with the hotel, the big buildings, the giant open plaza in the middle. It's a snow map.
I don't think I played on that one.
Interesting. Well, I did not really like that one.
It is also probably worth mentioning that when I play COD multiplayer, and really any multiplayer for that matter, I exclusively play Team Deathmatch. That's the only game mode I play.
I see.
So that might be why I didn't get that map. Maybe some maps are specifically designed for some games mode. I
thought that one was a TDM map as well. I mean, I played every mode except for Search and Destroy.
I know exactly what map you're talking about. Yeah, never mind. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's the only snow one.
Yeah. I didn't mind that one. I didn't overly like it. My favorite one was Eagle's Nest. I really enjoyed that map.
That's the small one on the mountain type hill, right?
Yeah, where you have like the long corridor on this side, and then you have like a weird staircase.
Yeah,
Hardcore bit on
yeah. I liked that one. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no, I that was probably my favorite out of the ones in the beta. One thing I really didn't like was I can't remember. I think is it called the death machine or like the minigun you call in?
Yeah, the death machine.
Yeah, was absolutely useless. Like I was close range shooting people for I don't even know how many bullets, and I would still get killed by them. Like, and that was with like my ping not that low. I was reacting quickly. Like I genuinely don't know how it happened, but like that thing was useless. It was pointless being there. It did nothing.
I didn't have that issue with it. I thought it was fine. It worked for me. I was just surprised that, hey, once you activate it, it does not go away until you run out of ammo. So you can keep dying and you just have it until you're out of ammo.
Yeah. I did like that because like I really hate it when like you just activate like a kill streak and then you get killed and then and then it's gone. So
no, yeah. I like that. I think with that kill streak though, that should be limited.
Oh
to,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Once you hit like 50 bullets, if you're done, if you hit 50 bullets and go below that, once you die, it's gone.
Yeah.
Anything before 50 bullets, you're fine if you die. But like because the RPG is just really powerful. It's just really powerful. So yeah, I after playing this and like looking at Battlefield 2042, what are you thinking now?
2042 easily 100% get 2042.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And like even after I played the beta some more, because like I said, last week I'd only played for like maybe an hour and a half when we recorded last week. So I definitely played it for some more after that. I played for at least about 6 or so hours after we recorded last week's episode. And I think that I definitely ended up liking it a bit more. Like I was like, okay, I was having more fun with it and enjoying it more. But overall, I was still just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get this. I'm still normally I know I'm gonna get Call of Duty. I'm gonna get it for sure. And this is the first year where I'm like, do I want to? Do I want to? And I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I will.
Yeah, I think I played the beta for maybe like 7 or 8 hours total. I was level 18 by the time it ended.
Yeah, I was around that level.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit higher, but I was around there for sure.
Because I played it most of Sunday night, basically maybe not all of Monday, but a large portion of Monday, a tiny bit on Tuesday, and a tiny bit on Wednesday morning. So I feel like I got some good time with it. I think I had a similar experience to you, where like the more I played it, the more I was enjoying it. But not to the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this game so I can play Call of Duty Team Deathmatch for like a month and then not play it anymore. So,
oh, I forgot to mention last week when we talked about it. This will be the last thing I say about it because I mean I didn't think we talked about it too long.
Yeah.
But I forgot to mention last week. I don't know if it's just me, but is the audio on that game real low? Because normally, like, I would have my TV volume at around 8 or 9, maybe 7, depending on what I'm playing. Because I'm also typically on the phone when I'm playing the game, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll put my volume down to around 6 or 5, sometimes 7, depending on the game that I'm playing. Call of Duty, it could be around like the 5 to 7 range. But normally I could have it at that volume and still hear things just fine. I can still hear gunshots just fine. I can still hear people moving around just fine. Playing that though, I had the volume at like 8, 9, and it was tough for me to hear stuff. Yeah. It was tough for me to hear like footsteps. It was tough for me to hear not gunshots, but like the glide bomb that comes down, like which is basically the Predator missile in this game.
Yeah.
It was basically like quiet. Like silent. And I was just like, I wonder if this is just me or if it's just like maybe my TV volume, but I don't think it is because normally when I play Modern Warfare, I can hear things better at this volume. Even when I played Cold War, I can hear things better at this volume. So maybe it's just a beta thing, but that was weird.
Yeah.
It's good to know it wasn't just me on that one.
Yeah. I'll add on to that just last thing. I'll say, yeah, because usually when I'm playing games, I have to turn my headset down for when I'm like doing not regular stuff, but that I have to turn up.
So yeah, those are okay. Good to hear your thoughts on Call of Duty Vanguard after you got to play the beta. We both kind of agree. Not sure about it. Not that sure.
We both agree. Get Battlefield 2042.
Get Battlefield 2042. It's looking like Vanguard. Not bad. It's fine.
Yeah,
but it's just fine. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
So, like I said last week, moving on to a much better game. Life is Strange: True Colors. I did not beat it, unfortunately, because I just did not have time to get through the final 4 chapters in 2 days. I mean, I could have if I had more time Saturday. If I had more time Saturday, I could have done 2 episodes, but I didn't play any of Saturday. So Sunday, I did episodes 2 and 3, and I have not played more this weekend. It's not going to happen most likely because I'm going to be busy. So it might be a bit before I finish True Colors. But I finished episode 3. This game, it just continues to impress me. I'm continuing to fall in love with this game. Without getting too spoiler heavy, because again, the game is really, it's all about story. Story is the main focus of this game and all. But again, the way character relationships are developing and evolving throughout the game. The way that everyone, because like I said last week, at the end of episode 1, basically, not a spoiler if you have seen anything about this game, the game's whole premise is that your brother dies after you get reunited with him and all like that. And it's just dealing with that and finding out the mysteries of what's going on in the town and stuff. The aftermath of his death and the way that Alex handles it in chapters 2 and 3, and the way that other people in the town handle his death, it really hits like really hard and really well. The second episode, it starts off with a wake that they're holding for your brother, and like this is a character that you have only spent 2 hours with, but hearing what everyone has to say about him, I'm just like, man, like I know this is true because I could just tell it was based off the 2 hours I spent with him. And I felt so bad and so sad for everyone that was there, and for Alex especially, who was just reunited with them. She only had a day with him after being separated for 8 years. And she's hearing all these stories people are telling about him, about how like the first time he got a ticket from the cop in town, about just like all types of different things. It's just like, man, it just hits so hard. And it hit in the feels in the right way. So again, just seeing how everyone deals with it and so on and so forth. It's just so well done. And, then the mystery that's kind of like behind it is like, hey, his death may not have been what it seemed. There might be more behind why and how he died. So now it's discovering the why and the how behind it all. And that mystery, it's interesting, it's intriguing, it's pulling me for sure. And the way it's affecting other characters in the game is really interesting me. And I think I won't say more than that because I want to talk about certain things. But if I do, I imagine it'll get into like spoiler territory for sure. Like, I want to talk about specifically like episode 3, because episode 3 is a really fun episode for a specific reason. But if I talk about it, it just gets into spoilers for sure. And I don't want to spoil the episode because it's actually a really fun and really cool episode.
Fair enough.
So I'll keep it at that. But I am very excited to finish this. Like I said, I'm probably not going to be able to play that for at least a week or so, just like with Deathloop. It's not going to happen for a bit.
Yeah.
So next time we record, I will not have more to say about Life is Strange: True Colors. Probably won't have much to say about any game because I am going to be busy this weekend. So I'm going to be busy going out tomorrow and Sunday. I'm not going to have time to really do much. But in addition to that, I'm going to be doing my review for Kena Bridge of Spirits. I'm aiming to have it out next Friday because I played and finished that game. And it's okay. Before I say any more, Keiran, you got the video pulled up?
Yes. Are there? I assume there are no spoilers in here.
No spoilers. It's just game. It's just like me in an area and stuff fighting enemy. There's no. There are no story spoilers. If I'm correct, at the very end, there's like a cutscene of sorts, but like again, it's not a spoiler or anything. So don't worry. I kind of picked a nice area that kind of shows like shows some stuff. We're gonna start at 3, 2, 1, start. So yeah, Keiran Bridge of Spirits. Like I said, I'm gonna review it. I'm gonna stay kind of real top level with my thoughts because I don't want to get too in depth. So I am gonna be reviewing the game, and the review will be out sometime soon, hopefully. What I will say is this: this is a really great game. This game it lives up to the hype. It lives up to expectations, and I think it's better than I thought it was gonna be. Keiran, do you have any questions for me while we're talking about this? Because I want to know what you want to know. Again, let's try and keep it top. Ask me your questions. I'm going to try not to get too specific about certain things.
How like in terms of just the overall game, how Breath of the Wild-esque is it? Or Zelda-esque,
I would say
I should say.
Zelda-esque in the sense of what? Like story, gameplay, the world. What do you mean?
All of it.
Do you mean a specific? Okay, all of it. Okay, so I guess you could say it's not Zelda-esque in gameplay. I wouldn't say it's Zelda-esque in gameplay or story. Maybe sense. The best way I can think of this game is actually a comparison I've seen a lot of people make. That being that this is it feels a whole lot like classic PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation character action games, where like the combat, it's simple, but there could be some depth. There is some depth to it. The world, it's like you have a world to explore. It's not the biggest world, but it's a nice size. The story, it's kind of lighthearted and everything like that, but there is emotional depth to this story. Surprisingly, emotional depth. Good amount of it too. The world, I guess we'll start with the world here. So the basic premise of the game is you play as Kena, and she's trying to find the mountain shrine, trying to reach the mountain shrine. This village, the area that you're in, is like corruption all in this area. And you're trying to get rid of the corruption. At the same time, you help the spirits by helping them move on. The spirits are lingering. If I'm correct, like I forgot exactly what the words at the beginning of the game says, because when you start the game, it has like text on the screen that basically gives you like the backstory or like the basic premise. But if like spirits in the world, if I'm right, if they feel like they still have something they need to do, then they linger in the world, and you help them move on by just by helping them. How can I explain it? Kena comes basically just help them move on in a sense. That's what she has to do to get to the mountain shrine. And you have to find like 3, you have their mask, right? The mask of the spirit.
Yeah. And
you have to find like 3 different items that related to that person. And you find the 3 items, and then you help them move on from then, essentially. That's kind of explaining it without getting too spoilery about stuff, because I mean it's not that I'd be spoiling things, but I don't want to say certain things, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So you help them move on, and then once they move on, their spirit is no longer in the world, and then that's that. So there are 3 sections in the world. You have your main village hub, and the main village branches off into like these 3 sections of the world. And which is kind of similar, again, how I was saying, kind of like older generation character action games. You have your main hub and you kind of move around and stuff like that. And then each of these areas are actually fairly sizable. Like each area on their own, they're like they're a really nice sized open world, not open world, but open area to explore and stuff. But they're not too big. They're not too big. They're not too small, like Goldilocks and 3 Little Bears. They're just right. They're just the right size for you to just like go around and explore and look for collectibles such as spirit mail. That is mail that belongs to some of the spirits in the main hub village that you collect it, you take it back to their house, and then you clear out some corruption at their house, and then they move on and stuff like that. So there's those collectibles. There are meditation spots that can increase your health. There are the creatures called the rot, the little black creatures that you have with you. You can find more of those, and there's a total of 100 you can collect in the game. Some of them you get like doing story stuff. Others most of them you have to find like in the world and everything. And finding them increases like the abilities you can do and all. So Kena, she unlocks different abilities throughout the game. One of them is the bow and arrow, which I have at this point. Another one is like a spirit bomb, which you can toss. Another one is the other one I'm not gonna spoil. You get at the very end of the game. I'm not gonna see what that one is. But as you collect more rot, you might have seen it a bit earlier in the footage. There's an upgrade tree that you have. It's a small upgrade tree, but it gives you some depth. And you can, some of the upgrades are kind of tied behind your rot level, which is basically how many you have. Once you reach like say 25, then you're like level 2. Once you reach another certain amount of rot, then you're level 3. Level 4 is like 65 rot. And the max is 100. I don't have 100. I think I had like 67 or something like that one. So yeah, that's how that is. And the areas like again, without getting too specific, I enjoyed exploring the areas because they look really good. As you could tell this from the footage, like it's a good looking game. I really like it. It makes sense that it's a good looking game. The team behind it, Ember Labs, if I'm correct, they were formerly an animation studio. Now this is their first game, and it looks really great. And the animations and like some of the cutscenes, it's just like, yo, I want the Kena movie. Give me the Kena movie or the Kena prequel series or something. Ember Labs, like it's a good looking game. Some of the cutscenes are like pre-rendered, which is where these like really cinematic stuff looks. But like even like the in-engine cutscenes and stuff, like in-engine footage, again here, it's just a gorgeous looking game. And I like how the HUD just disappears when you're running around, so that way you could just like take in the world and all like that. Let me see. Want me to talk about combat for you real quick?
I do have one more question before you get into combat.
What's that?
How many sparks can I have at one time, and can I pet them?
How many how many of the little rot, you mean?
Oh, I thought they were called sparks.
No, I said the rot. That's what they're called.
Oh, I thought they were called sparks.
No, I called them the rot. I said they were the rot, dude. Silly Karen.
I'm entranced by gameplay. I want to play.
Well, on PS5, I know that they said that the amount that you will see on screen is the amount that you have. Okay. On PS4, I think it's capped at a certain amount, but on PS5, like you can see like all of the ones that you have with you. And you might see it in the footage, but like when you're running around the world, like the rot, they will just like teleport onto like stuff around you. So like when I'm running past a bridge, like they'll just like teleport onto the bridge, just like sit there as you run by and like teleport onto different things and all. And yes, you can pet them. If you're not in combat, there's a thing where you could do where you can sit down and then it gives you the option to have them dance. One of them can like give you a little kiss on your cheek, or I think you could just like pet them or something like that. And when they give you the kiss on the cheek, she's like, "Oh, thank you." And like all the ones that you have, they all jump up and like hearts come around them and stuff. It's super cute. It's super adorable. The rot are absolutely precious. And I want nothing bad to happen to them ever. So yes, you can pet the rot. And you could also put different hats on them that you collect from different treasure chests. You can put different like types of hats on them and stuff. It's super cute. You can make them look really cute and adorable.
I need this game right now.
Combat, again, I'm not gonna get too in-depth, but combat is fun. It is definitely fun. It's not too complex. Again, you have like, R1 is your basic light attacks, R2 is your heavy attacks. And then you can do rot attacks. You see the yellow dots on the HUD right above my health. That is courage, which you build up during combat, during attacks, or when you hit certain enemies. If you see like these little yellow orbs on the ground, if you hit yellow spots on enemies, that will drop courage for you, which you can collect, and it kind of boosts up your courage meter some. the courage meter allows you to do actions with the rot in combat. So if you do, like, if you look at an enemy rot symbol, you can press square and the rot will go over to them and like just like distract them for a moment, allowing you to like get in free hits on them or like else. Or you could do rot attacks. So like if you have the bow and arrow, when you draw the bow and arrow, normally you shoot it normally. But if you hold square while you draw it, you do a rot arrow, which is like basically a supercharged one, and it's much stronger. Or if you have like the bomb, when you do the bomb normally, you throw it at an enemy, it can stick onto them or whatever, and it'll blow up eventually. Or rot bomb, you throw that down, and it's just a stronger version. It's a stronger version, and I'm pretty sure it also, it's not just a stronger version. It like basically becomes like a stasis field in a sense. So anything that going into it gets like slowed down a whole lot, which is cool. So yeah, like here I'm like finding a rot under a rock somewhere. Like there's all types of rot all over the place and stuff. There are enemies around the world that just drop on down and stuff. But the combat, it's simple. There is some depth to it, but it's nothing too complex or anything.
Yeah.
Game is hard. I will tell you that now. It does not look it, but this game is tough. And I played on normal difficulty. But some of these boss fights out here, I was dying on them a lot. I was dying on some of these boss fights a whole lot. Part of it is because difficulty. There was a difficulty spike with boss fights. Part of it is also because of the way there's a thing with boss fights in terms of like getting health back, because you don't regenerate health during combat. You only regenerate health when you're not in combat.
Okay.
When you're in combat, if you want to get health back, you have to have the rot go like towards like a health flower essentially. But in boss fights, there's generally only 2 health flowers in a fight. So enemies can take your health, like bosses can take your health down really quickly. So you could end up needing to use one within the first like 30 seconds of a fight starting. And then after you use it, you might get hit while you use it, which is like, all right, well, now it kind of did nothing for me. And then you have to use your second one, and then you're kind of out for the rest of the fight. You have to just like survive. So if there were more of them in fights, boss fights might have been easier. But because of that design decision, boss fights can be really tough. On top of them just already being like strong attackers and everything.
Yeah.
All that being said, it's challenging, but it's never like not fun. I still enjoyed myself, even if I was like cursing at the games. I'm just like, oh my God, die. I hate you. I hate you. So that's that with the combat. The story, like I said, it's a really fun story. It's a good story. It has surprisingly some emotional depth behind it. The stories behind the spirits that you behind the main spirits that like you're helping move on and stuff as you try to get to the mountain shrine, the stories behind them, surprisingly, like they really hit. I was just like, oh my God. Like the first one, I was just like, oh man, no. Because you find out like what caused them to be a spirit, and the events that led to them being spirit, why they're doing what they're doing, so on and so forth. Like it hits. It actually hits really hard. So yeah, it was all really good and really fun. And I'm just gonna say this game really lived up to expectations. I already know what I'm gonna give it, score wise, and there are like some like issues here and there. Of course, like I mentioned, the combat, like the difficulty. I think that is a flaw. I don't want to say a flaw, but like a knock against the game.
Yeah.
Because like some of these fights can be really tough, and that's just on normal difficulty. I can't imagine doing this on like a harder difficulty. I imagine some of those fights would be really tough. But all in all, still, I really enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it. And that's as specific as I'll get without like saying what my score is and stuff. So yeah, look forward to the review. I'm aiming to have it out a week from today. So a couple of days after this video goes live, or after this podcast goes live, I should say. And yeah, if it's not out then, it'll either be out like a day or two later or like the following week. I will see. It really just depends on my schedule and how I'm able to get this review written and edited and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so I don't have anything to add.
Sorry, thought you might have had something to add. With that being, sorry, go ahead. You do have something to add.
No, I just had one more question, just like a weird one off the top of my head. Is there fall damage?
Yes.
Okay.
Fall damage in the sense that you fall from too high, you die.
Oh, okay.
There is no. Oh man, I lost some health. No, you fall from too high, you dead. There are some things where if you fall into it, you won't die. It just like respawn you back at like wherever it was you fell from. Like if you fall into like rivers or lakes of corruption, you don't die or lose health from that. You'll get back up and you're fine. But like you fall off a mountain. Well, not off a mountain, but like if you jump off a roof and it's a bit too high, you will die when you hit the ground.
Yeah.
Tell you that much. I also forgot combat. There is a shield. Well, actually, you know what? Well, yeah, there is a shield and a parry system and stuff. The shield is cool. The parry system, I'm not the best at parrying. It helps. Yeah. You gotta get that timing just right. And that it's kind of essential in some of them boss fights. It's just like, ooh. But again, really good game. I enjoyed it a lot. Look forward to my review coming sometime soon in the near future. With all being said, though, that will conclude episode 26 of the Play to Win podcast. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, you can go follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at Play to Win Game for updates on the show and other little things that we may post over there. Go check out our site, playtowingames.wordpress.com, for a nice home for all of our content and to read our different reviews that we have. If you want to read the written version of my Kena Bridge of Spirits review when that goes live, you can go read it over on playtowingames.wordpress.com. Nice place for you to go. Kieran, what's up?
Just one very quick thing. I updated the links in our Instagram and Twitter bios to our site.
Yes, there we go. So the link is there. Go check it out and stuff.
Or in the description of this video.
Or in the description of this video. Yes, it is there too. So definitely go check that out. And yeah, share the show, like the show, subscribe on YouTube, turn on notification bells, all that jazz. Kieran, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at badlynet, BADLYNET, all one word.
Fantastic. You can find me on Twitter at Tyler Miller 2496. That will wrap up this episode of the Play to Win podcast. Thank you all very much for watching and or listening. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll speak to you all next time. Have a good one.
See y'all later.